How to Get Rid of Shame Due to Financial Problems. Healing Parables. The Baker and the Snow. Once upon a time, in a small town, there was a baker, a master of his craft. One Sunday at the market, the baker talked to his neighbor, who sold candles and Christmas decorations. The baker complained to the neighbor about his hard life. "When I was a child," the baker began, looking sadly at his flour-stained hands, "I felt dirty, as if I always carried the stigma of poverty. I was an outcast, and that pain still echoes within me. Even now, as an adult, I catch myself thinking that I am not worthy of anything better." The neighbor gently smiled and put a hand on the baker's shoulder. "I understand how deep those wounds can be. Childhood poverty leaves an indelible mark, and the shame you felt was a natural reaction. But it's important to remember that it was then, and you were not to blame for what happened. You didn't choose your family or circumstances. Now, you have the chance to change your life." The baker thanked the neighbor and closed his eyes for a moment. He imagined himself as a little boy in worn-out sneakers and with a poorly stitched backpack. He also imagined his adult self hugging the little boy and gently saying, "Hey, kid, it doesn't matter what kind of backpack you have. It doesn't matter what kind of sneakers you wear. You're awesome, and your appearance doesn't define you. I always protect you and love you. I will do everything to make sure you live well and with dignity. You will always have good shoes, a backpack, food, and a roof over your head, and I'll take care of it. Trust me." The most important thing is to understand that no matter what happens, you are a good and worthy person. The baker felt like a child again and imagined how he would feel if he had heard such words as a little schoolboy. He would be happy, grateful, and very glad. This fantasy made the baker feel much better. For a while, he and his neighbor exchanged jokes and briskly sold their goods, entertaining customers with Christmas anecdotes. But when the crowd thinned, the baker's sad thoughts returned to his mind. The baker lowered his head and sadly said to the neighbor, Debts. They feel like a curse. I feel so foolish, so incapable. I could have lived differently, but I chose the easy way. And now I'm reaping the fruits of my recklessness. When I grew up, I decided to get rich. I worked hard, studied a lot, and labored tirelessly. I earned a living but never amassed anything. I helped people by baking cakes, but then I got disillusioned. I started living on credit, seeking ease, borrowing money, and resting a lot. That's how I fell into a big debt pit. I feel ashamed of my debts and feel different from everyone else. Everyone makes mistakes, the neighbor replied. It's important not to dwell on the past but to learn from it. Your debts do not reflect your character. They are the result of certain life circumstances. Now, you've already taken many steps toward healing. You've recognized the problem and started to address it. That means you're ready to move forward. Imagine your debts are like a big snowball that rolled down a mountain. The snowball gathered more and more snow, becoming huge, but once it stopped at the bottom, it seemed insurmountable. But with the arrival of spring, the snowball will melt little by little, and eventually, it will be gone. When spring comes and the sun shines stronger and longer, the snowball will turn into water, nourishing the young grass. The spring sun is your burning desire to work on your debts and have a financial plan. Your financial plan will work gradually. Just like the sun gradually melts the snowball. You work in the bakery and bake cakes for the market on weekends. You can be full of optimism because, in the end, your debts will melt away without a trace. Your habit of setting aside money will benefit you because when you pay off your debts, you'll start saving money. And this will be an advantage for you since you're already used to setting aside a certain amount each month. The baker pondered the neighbor's words. He took a handful of snow and watched it melt from the warmth of his hands, turning into water and trickling through his fingers. At that moment, he felt as if his worries were melting away with the snow. He understood that, over time, his debts would also disappear, and this made him feel much lighter. The baker thanked the neighbor for his wise words and support and returned to his work. He felt that a new chapter in his life was just beginning, confident that he would overcome all difficulties and debts. The end.